Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Janda, and please welcome to our Operation Freedom platform, WeThePeopleProcessing.com. You know, are you tired of being threatened to be canceled just because you have a company focused on liberty and freedom? Well, worry no more, folks. WeThePeopleProcessing.com is your go-to merchant services, freedom-based company to provide business service payment solutions. We the People Processing provides their clients a cancel culture-free platform which is domestically based. They provide competitive rates, no contracts with next-day funding, a fully vetted and like-minded financial infrastructure, and full support for integrations, implementation, and e-commerce efforts. Bottom line, WeThePeopleProcessing.com focuses on defending your company's free market growth, values, and future. Check them out at www.WeThePeopleProcessing.com. Once you're on the site, enter in password Operation Freedom or call 855-499-2024. That's WeThePeopleProcessing.com. Then, when on the website, enter Operation Freedom as your password or call 855-499-2024.
Mr. President-elect, go ahead. Can you state categorically? Mr. President-elect, can you give us a question?
Don't be rude.
Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude. No, I'm not going to give you a question. I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Sir.
Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Janda. Welcome back to Dave Vs The MSM. I'd like to thank you for joining me today. I'd like to wish you a happy new year. I do believe we are in, and this isn't hopium, it's based on sound analysis. I believe we're in a better position in January 2023 than we were in January 2022, and better than we were years prior. Why? Why do I say that? Because there has been an enormous awakening of hundreds of millions of people around the world. Probably close to over 1 billion people around the world have been awakened to the totalitarians amongst us. You know, many people say that the New World Order crowd, the globalist syndicate, the shadow government, the criminal international banking syndicate, the globalist cult, the thugocracy, that they're a bunch of socialists. No, they're more than socialists. I see them more than just communists. They're totalitarians. They want you to have zero freedoms, zero liberties, zero rights. They want you dead. And they want our constitutional republic dead. Because what stands in their way, and in particular, documents, the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, those are their speed bumps. Our rights come from God. And in a free society, in a constitutional republic, thanks to our forefathers and foremothers that stood up to a totalitarian thug king and globalist cult syndicate at the time, stated that the government doesn't give you rights. They come from a higher power. But the government that we want, as opposed to what the cult created in England and around the world, is the government is there to ensure and protect those rights. But the totalitarians amongst us that are all, some say puppets, but I believe that's too diplomatic. They're really whores. They're bought and paid for whores. And that's really not being quite fair to streetwalkers, but it's the best I can do. They are whores of the globalist cult. Ron Paul, who I believe is the most honest person I met and have knowledge of about his actions in Washington. There was a reason why he was targeted, right? Remember, he had a big following, right? And then, wow, how come he didn't get that many votes? Here we go, right? Yeah. This is what he recently wrote about the Twitter papers. The Twitter papers reveal the totalitarians amongst us. Here's what he wrote. I admit to being skeptical of Elon Musk as a free speech hero. He has moved from one U.S. and government-subsidized business to another on his path to becoming the world's richest person. But there is no denying that his release of the Twitter papers this past month blew the lid off government manipulation of social media and has been a huge victory for those of us who value the First Amendment. The release demonstrated indisputably how politicians and representatives of, quote, official Washington, end quote, pressed the teams that were then in charge of censorship at Twitter to remove tweets and even ban accounts that were guilty of nothing beyond posting something the powers brokers did not want the general public to read or to know about. Yours truly is in that group, who was banned. Let's not forget that many of those demanding Twitter censorship were U.S. government officials who had taken an oath to the United States Constitution and its First Amendment. This from Zero Hedge. The FBI, who's supposed to be involved in criminal investigations, yet they've become, well, very involved in illegal surveillance and illegal censorship. FBI warned Twitter of hack and leak operation before the Hunter Biden story was censored. This from Zero Hedge. Facebook wasn't the only company that received a tap on the shoulder from the FBI shortly before the New York Post Hunter Biden laptop bombshell. According to a declaration filed with the Federal Elections Commission in December 2020, the FBI and several other agencies warned Twitter's former head of site integrity, Yoel Roth, that state actors may attempt to leak hacked materials shortly before the 2020 election in an effort to influence the results. According to Roth, the conversation happened during weekly meetings with the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, the Department of Homeland Security, and the FBI. Quote, these expectations of hack and leak operations were discussed throughout 2020. The hack and leak operation would involve Hunter Biden, Roth claimed in his declaration. As the Daily Caller noted, on October 14th, 2020, and the story came out on October 13th, 2020, although several of us had been speaking about this for several months before that based on information we had. We were roundly considered conspiracy theorists, and this was disinformation. No, it was true. Might have been conspiracy, but it was conspiracy reality. And in essence, in a nutshell, that Hunter Biden laptop revealed huge money laundering activities between the Biden crime family, Russia, Ukraine, Middle East, and China, just to name a few. Hundreds of millions of dollars. Adversely affected the national security of every, not just a couple, every American. Yeah, take that one to the bank. On October 14, 2020, Twitter prohibited the story from being shared under the platform's, quote, hacked materials policy, end quote. Yet they had no evidence it was hacked. They were just told that, and they said, oh, whatever you say. And that, in turn, adversely affected the election. How do we know that? Because Surveys have shown that between 14 and 40% of people who voted for Il Demente, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, the Bobbsey twins, would not have voted for them if they thought it was real. That's what they say. 14 to 40%. Yeah. In August 2022, we knew that this was what was going on because Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg admitted to Joe Rogan that the FBI warned the company about Russia propaganda shortly before the laptop story broke at the Post in October 2020. America First Legal Foundation, who's doing fantastic work, has obtained new documents uncovering a secret Twitter portal, the Totalitarians Amongst Us, the U.S. government officials used to censor dissenting views and violate the First Amendment of every American, not just the people, but, right. James Baker, there's that name again. You know, the former general counsel at the FBI to Comey, who then became the deputy general counsel at Twitter. That's this. His name sounds familiar because I've been speaking about him for many years. Yeah. Remember, he was the guy who took possession of information from a whistleblower in August of 2015 that government puppets, Obama, Biden, Brennan, Clapper, Comey, Mueller, were illegally surveilling other government officials and tens of thousands of other innocent Americans so they could use them to politically target them. For one reason. There were others. And this guy, Baker, took that evidence. He testified to that under Congress in October 2018. He did. And deep-sixed it. And then, when a number of us were hot on his trail, they moved him out to Twitter, who then banned some of us. I'm still banned there. Because we presented on this platform information that was too close to home. One of my last tweets was, is the freedom-stripping virus that adversely affected the 2020 election. Right. No warning, no reason given. The tweet right before that was I put truth out about their, I don't know, whatever he is. Fauci. I know what he is. He's a totalitarian thug. But yeah, I laid it on the line about him in December 2020. And I had been for months before that. But those two tweets are what got me kicked off. Because they're choke point Baker. When they were trying to out these files, Baker came into play again. James Baker intercepted the Twitter files before he was fired, right? Before they could get to the reporters bringing this information forward. Tiabi, Naomi Wolf, Schellenberger. And scrub references to the FBI. One would think that would be illegal, isn't it? Altering evidence and information. By the way, those Twitter files had just been revealed that Anthony Fauci's daughter worked at Twitter during the pandemic. And then this from James Howard Kunstler. Remember, they have to have their choke points, and Baker was the big choke point. One of them, but one of the big choke points. And government influencers. And remember what Musk said. Based on the terms of service, it's not illegal for Twitter to censor people based on their terms of use, as long as it's based on their terms of use and not just making it up out of vapor, which they did. But where it becomes unconstitutional and criminal is when the government tells Twitter what to do. And that's what was happening, and Baker was their conduit. This from James Howard Kunstler, the tool of tools. But there's one other matter that has been left out of all the sound and fury about the Twitter doc release. The meta-story of the U.S. government rogue agencies' greater war against the public interest, not just the intel community, but all the public health agencies under the Department of Health and Human Services, the FDA, the CDC, the NIAID, run by Fauci, the NIH, at the time run by Collins, and more. Consider that James A. Baker, there's that name again, formerly the FBI's consigliere, was in the top job at Twitter most of the time that was raging across the land. How much did he have to say about censoring the life and death information surrounding the pandemic? Did he stifle debate about the early treatment medications, you know, the one that start with an I and the one that start with an H? Yeah. And what about vitamin, right? Good old D as in David? Yeah. That could have saved many thousands of lives otherwise sacrificed to the medical establishment's Moloch of intubation and remdesivir. By the way, it's still being given in hospitals, even though it's been shown to have huge adverse effects. Did he advise the blackballing, silencing, and cancellation of doctors who opposed Fauci's regime of lockdowns, masks, and you bet he did, and you're looking at one of them. Did he prevent the public from learning how ineffective and harmful the Pfizer and mRNA are? Did he help promote every government-sponsored untruth about, meaning just about everything public officials have uttered about it for 3 years? Did he and some in his machinations at Twitter so pervert the national conversation through an epic crisis that he has contributed to the collapsing U.S. economy and a genocide-like campaign against the people of this country? Kunstler says, I think he probably did. And that's how serious this matter is. It's called crimes against humanity. And it's all focused and at the hands of the puppets of the totalitarians. Just calling them globalists I don't think is enough. The evil totalitarians amongst us. They despise accountability because it means their day in court could well be close. They despise transparency that leads to accountability. Go back to something Musk said at the beginning of this entire goat rodeo with Twitter. Here's what he said. I wanted to reach out personally to share my motivation in acquiring Twitter. There has been much speculation about why I bought Twitter. Most of it's been wrong. The reason why I acquired Twitter is because it is important to the future of civilization to have a common digital town square where a wide range of beliefs can be debated in a healthy manner without resorting to violence. There is currently great danger that social media will splinter into far right-wing and far left-wing echo chambers that generate more hate and divide our society, which is exactly what the syndicate wants. Their playbook is based on divide and conquer. If we are at our own loggerheads, what happens? We take our eye off the ball. The real evil perpetrators, because we're too busy clonking heads and not looking up that pyramid at who's really calling the shots. In the relentless pursuit of clicks, much of traditional media has fueled and catered to these polarizing extremes. Well, why not? Because the bought-off lamestream fake media, there's a reason why I call them that, is because they're a tentacle of the deep state. And that is focused on dividing and conquering all of us. They believe that is what brings in the money, but in doing so, the opportunity for dialogue is lost. And with love or hate him, there is not complete transparency at Twitter. Why can I say that? Because myself and probably another several thousand people are still banned for no reason other than we tell the truth. We put the facts on the table. And the totalitarians amongst us, like the James Bakers of the world, can't stand that. But with it comes risk. This from Elijah Cohen. The likelihood of something bad happening to Elon Musk is high, according to Musk. And he's right. Which is why you have to take the necessary precautions. All of us do. Quote, at the end of the day, we just want to have a future where we're not oppressed, where our speech is not suppressed. That's what Elon Musk told his audience why he decided to make the files public. And we can say what we want to say without fear of reprisals. That's Musk. And then he went on. Frankly, the risk of something bad happening to me or even literally being shot is quite significant, Musk continued. He added that he's, quote, definitely not going to doing any open-air car parades. Let me put it to you that way, end quote. What was he referring to? Oh, yeah, November 1963, Dallas, Dealey Plaza, JFK. The agency and the FBI are still holding about 100,000 documents. Almost coming up this November, 60 years. Yeah. Why? Remember, they wanted to suppress this and this data for 75 years. They just, remember last year? If it wasn't for Aaron Siri and a group of attorneys, they got that data released, the initial FDA Pfizer data. Yeah. Oh no. The totalitarians amongst us. Don't do this left-right stuff. The left-right is pure theater meant to divide and conquer. One political party in Washington, and 99% of them are in that party, the Republicans, owned and operated by a criminal syndicate that is comprised of totalitarian thugs, all the way up the food chain. Here's what Musk concluded with, quote, it's not hard to kill somebody if you wanted to, so hopefully they don't. And fate smiles upon the situation with me, and it does not happen. There's definitely some risk there, end quote, Musk said. Yeah, he's right. He's right. And I know, as Ron Paul stated, he has ties with the syndicate. But there are rare individuals that have ties with the syndicate that step up and say, you know what? Nope. This isn't going to continue. I'm not going to be a part of it. And I'm going to expose it. Remember, about a month before Kennedy was killed, he spoke about a couple things, number of things. One was shattering the intelligence agency into 1,000 pieces. He spoke about bringing the money printing activity and money creation activity back to the United States Treasury from the independent group, not a part of government, of the banking syndicate called the Federal Reserve that took control of it thanks to Woodrow Wilson and Congress and Christmas Eve in 1913. Yeah. And he was also speaking about not getting involved and pulling back from a war that looked to be escalating in Vietnam. So he took on the intelligence agencies. He took on the banking syndicate. And he took on the military-industrial complex. Remember what his predecessor, Dwight Eisenhower, spoke about before he left office, about the military-industrial complex. Yeah. And he also mentioned, Eisenhower, other complexes, the banking complex, the intelligence complex. Yeah. The totalitarians have been amongst us for many decades. The good news is in January 2023, that fact about the totalitarians amongst us has awakened. And even people there in the People's Republic of Ann Arbor who have been brain dead their entire lives on these issues have started to awaken. I know. I experience it every day. True. We are far better off in January 2023 than we were in January 2022. Why? Because this past year, you decided not to sit on your couch. You decided not to consume their propaganda. Best thing you can do is turn off the bought off lamestream fake media. Stop reading their newspapers, magazines. You've tuned it out. And you've tuned in the independent media, such as this platform. And then you've taken this information and you've delivered it to your family, your friends, your coworkers, your neighbors, maybe even some people you didn't even know. And they might have doubted you at first, but then they started researching and found out exactly what you were saying was true. And it awakened them. And then they awakened others. You see, right now, the totalitarians amongst us are panicked. Yeah, they don't want you to think that. They don't want you to know that. But they're panicked. Why? Because of your awakening and your actions in 2022. And that's why I believe 2023 is going to be even better. Because those millions of people that have become awakened will in turn awaken many hundreds of millions of people around the world and ultimately billions of people. And that's what the syndicate doesn't want you to realize. That there are billions of us and several thousand of just them. Yeah. That is the magic formula, the secret sauce for freedom that they don't want you to know about, which is why they target me. They target this channel. Just look at the view numbers. Just look at how they don't notify people. It's all a joke. It's all fraud, what they're doing. The easy thing for me would be to pack up shop. Just say, why waste my time? Why waste the expenses of having the IT team scrub this video to make sure that we can get it on there so it kind of gets around their AI platforms? Why waste my time doing all the research behind these presentations and giving them when they're going to say that I only got a couple thousand people watching the video and that they hold back, even though you see commercials running, they hold back monetization payments. Yeah. And not sending out notifications to the subscribers just to this channel. No, because I know those numbers are all false and fraud. And I know we're touching millions of people with what we do. But understand something. I can only go so far on this platform, or on Rumble, or anywhere, with the exception of the website, DaveJanda.com. Which is why our subscribers say, I pay 30 cents a day and you give me priceless information every day. It saved my life. I hear that every day from many subscribers every day. That's what we do. We save lives. I practiced medicine on the front line of healthcare delivery for 32 years. Saved lives there. Positively impacted lives. With my skills as an orthopedic surgeon, as a clinician, as an injury prevention researcher. It's no different on this platform. That's what Dave Janda is all about. Not spoon feeding you, but giving you food for thought. And thoughts that'll ultimately lead to the saving of your freedom, of your liberty, of your future, of your life, and of our constitutional republic. I hope you join us at DaveJanda.com. Until next time, Dave Janda signing off. Dream big and dare to fail. Thanks for your time today and Happy New Year.